so others who couldn't make it here today can still view this. I'm going to tell you right now that I know that I promised a deep dive into Teams, and I still plan on doing that. But since there's people all over the board in terms of what you know with Teams, I am going to kind of fly through this. So this is a deep dive, but not like a deep learn session. That's learn, not burn. And so if you need to follow up on any of the items, please let me know. So like breakout rooms or anything like that, we can follow up. I'll make time. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I think I have everyone's muted, so good job, everybody. If you do need to talk, go ahead and just speak up. You can use the live emojis, which I'll talk about as well. And there's also chat bubbles now that pop up, so I'll be able to better see any chats that come through, and I'll talk about that here in a second. So, oops, shared the wrong screen. We're already off to a poor start. Let's share the correct screen. There we go. Okay, so we're here to talk about Teams. First of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Wagenmaker, instructional technology consultant here at MCC. If you ever need to get a hold of me, best way is to email me, kevin.wagenmaker@montcalm.edu. I'll be sure to put that in the chat. And if I forget, if somebody else could just throw that in there, that would be great. But I'm guessing most of you know how to get a hold of me. I'm going to dive into Teams, talk to you about how you can make Teams work for your course or courses, maybe streamline, maybe you'll pick something up a little bit. I have a whole list of things that I want to dive through. So in the essence of keeping our time, here we go. So first things first, Teams is a hub, okay? So Teams is not like Zoom in that it's just a video conferencing system. Teams is a hub that brings together a lot of Microsoft software, things like OneDrive, Skype for Business, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote. The list goes on, and we can show you all those apps. So it may seem more confusing in that aspect because it's more of like a collaboration center than just a virtual meeting center. All right, and we can see that by looking at the sidebar here on the global navigation. You see that you get your notifications up and over here. If you need to have some chats, you can do chats. Now, when it comes to Teams, there's a chat area and a team area. Okay, think about it this way: team is like your little group that you form. Okay, and you can form as many as you want. And then within that group of different people, you can create different channels. So my example on the screen right now is an English course. And when you create that team, you get just one general channel. That channel is an area for collaboration. You can have video conferencing. You can make a conversation and say things like, who is going to be doing this part of the project? And people can respond to it in a nice little thread, and it really kind of helps to organize things. If we go back to the chat area, that's more of a direct conversation with one or a few people. So you can have a chat conversation. If I go to my test user chat area, we can see that we can have a chat with one person. And if I have something, so this is Marilyn, and Marilyn wanted to talk to Kevin about something. Okay, that's something that that's a conversation that you would have in the chat area because you're just trying to communicate with that one person. Now, there might be other people that have to be involved with that conversation as well. You could form a group in the chat area as well. Teams, having your conversations in the Teams area is more of a passive way of communicating with others. Okay, if you need to post something in a stream, things like that. Okay, so there is sometimes some confusion as far as why would I use a team when I got a chat, or why would I use a chat when I have a team? It kind of comes down to what your preference is and how you're best trying to work with others. One other thing I want to mention about the chat area is very versatile. If Marilyn wanted to have a quick conversation other than just in a chat message, Marilyn could start a video call right from here. Okay, Marilyn could also just do a regular old phone call right from here as well. In addition to chatting, you'll also notice that there's tabs up top. So if you share a file during a chat, you can find those different files, and there's none that have been shared here in that file area. All right. So if Susan and I had a chat going on and we shared files back and forth, and I need to reference one of those files, I can quickly find that file from our chat area if it was shared in there. And there's other items that we can add here as well and view from here, and there's a plus sign. So that's chat in a nutshell. Okay. I mentioned teams. So I want to talk to you a little bit about forming teams and the different ways that you can do this. New this term coming up, teams can be auto-generated, meaning in the past you had to create your own teams and go through, name them appropriately, and enter in excuse me, all of your different students. For some of you that have like 50 students in your class, that takes some time. Now, there's something called Microsoft Sync within Canvas. It's been integrated into Canvas. And so I want to quickly show you that before we really dive into the other Teams items. So if you go to your Canvas course, and you can see that this is my sample course that I've created. And once we're in the course, and I'm actually going to back you out to the dashboard, and just for the sake of showing you it, go actually click on it and go into the course. So where in the heck did I put that course? There it is right there, okay? And if I click on that course shell, it'll take me into the course. I'm going to go down to my course navigation here to settings. And this is so incredibly easy. Up at the top, you're going to see integrations. You're going to click on that, and there's only one thing there. It's the Microsoft Sync. So there's 2 steps from here. You're going to first click that little icon button over, that little radio button, toggle button, whatever you want to call it button. And that kind of enables it. But then you're going to click this arrow, and you are going to see a bunch of information about what you got to do. So the first time you go to sync this, you have to click on Sync Now manually. All right. The sync now will always be there, so you can always trigger a manual sync if you need to. But anytime a student is added or removed from your Canvas roster, a sync will be auto-generated. You won't have to go in and sync unless you want to. So I'm ready. I'm going to go ahead and hit Sync Now, and that will get that sync started. So if I pop on over to my Teams area and scroll down, I got a lot of teams I'm a part of. That doesn't say that I'm like popular or anything. I got some hidden teams here. And we see that it is syncing. It might take a moment. Okay, it should show up here. But if I pop back over, you can see that that sync is still running. We might have to go away from it for a second because sometimes it takes like a couple minutes. It might even take a half hour in some instances, but for the most part, it is pretty quick. I will tell you this. Once you sync your course, it's still going to take some time on the Teams side of things to sync in with all the Microsoft apps behind the scene. So you might not be able to schedule your Teams, your channel meetings right away. So just a heads up on that. If you're kind of waiting till like the last minute to do this, to run this sync, don't. Get it synced, and then you can always come back in and do what you need to do. A couple other quick hitter items for this. The type of team that it creates is a classroom team. So it's going to look a little bit different than the teams you have seen in the past. I actually have one that I've already done. And so you're just going to see like, upload class materials and set up class notebook at the top. That's not something that you need to do. We're still going to use Canvas as our learning management system. And I actually just got a notification on my watch that I was added to a team. So that must mean that it's going to show up here. Don't let me down. There it is. Okay. And just like that, my team has shown up. So I'm actually going to click and go into that and show you this one. And you can see that the team is now here. All right. It comes with one channel. If we want to make more channels, maybe have group work or something like that, we can add more channels. But you're also going to see up at the top that the students on my Canvas roster have not been added or are not allowed to be in this team yet. So if you need to add some things, add some channels, set up some meetings, stuff like that, you can do that. And then once you're ready, you can activate it. It's really not a huge deal, but you just need to remember to hit activate right here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it. It's not going to really do anything special. It's just going to give those students access. Speaking of giving the students access, a question that comes up all the time is, are the students going to get an email? I don't think they're going to get an email. I'm almost positive they're not going to get an email. They might get a Teams notification if they have those set up. But the bottom line is, when they go to Teams and go to their team area, they are going to see that your course has been added to the team area. So just a heads up on that, they're not going to get an email. So like I said, the team is a classroom team. You don't have to upload like actual assignments and stuff like that. It's pretty straightforward if you've used Teams in the past. Before we get in a little further, I want to pull you up here to the upper right-hand corner. If you're using the Teams app, and we still recommend that you use the Teams desktop app on your computer. But if you use it, you're going to notice that the settings area has changed. It's now this little dot menu right here. You're not going to get to it from your profile picture like you did in the past. Using your profile picture will allow you to jump from different teams' accounts if you have them, and also sign out. The menu dots will take you to the settings area where you'll find things like your ability to update your Teams app, switching your view. You can see I use the grid view to see all my teams. Some of you use the list view. Totally cool, all good. Let's see here. One new feature that they've added was your ability to designate where you open files. So if someone sends you a Word file and you click on it in a Teams chat, it's going to open that file right within Teams. If you don't like that, which sometimes I don't, you can change. So if they send you a Word file, you can set it to the desktop app and it will open it in Microsoft Word on your desktop. You can also choose a browser and that will open it in Microsoft Word for 365. Okay, so that's a new feature right there. Another thing I want to point out, if we go down to devices, you have the option to set your default devices like your camera and things like that. I encourage you to have your students try a test call. They don't have to call anybody. It will run a test call and check connections, your microphone, your video camera, things like that. And that's right from the devices area in your settings. Another new-ish feature is noise suppression. So if you're in a noisy environment, it will actually cut out background noise. They released this feature, and the guy that was showing us the feature had a vacuum running in the background and you couldn't hear it, okay? Because he had something called noise suppression on. So you can add this right here and it will cut out background noise. Pretty cool. Let's see here. I think there might have been one other item that I wanted to point you in the direction of. Oh yeah, notifications. So there's Teams notifications that make it pretty simple. I recommend that you just set it to mentions and replies. But if you want more notifications, you can certainly set it however you want to set it. But just know that the notifications area is right here. That's one of two notifications area in Teams. The other place that you can adjust your notifications is in your individual teams. Okay, so you can go into the channel menu buttons and you can actually set up channel notifications. You can see that I have this channel turned off. So if anyone posts in here, I'm not going to get a notification. That is the default setting for your channels. Okay, a lot of people miss notifications because of that. If you want to make sure people in your channel get notified when you're posting, do this. This is kind of silly, but you just simply use the tag for the channel, okay? @ and the channel name or the team name, and that will make sure that everyone gets a notification when you post, okay? If you need to get a hold of a specific person, okay, you can simply just do that and tag a specific person in your post. Speaking of a post, make sure that you know that all these icons down below here stand for something and allow you to do a whole lot more with your post. So if you just need to do a simple thing, it's fine. But if you want to bring out something that's like a little bit more, you can do that. Give it a title, and you can really type out a large message. All right. You can also post in multiple channels. So if you need to get something across to multiple people, you can do that as well. So I mentioned the sync, very easy to do, as you saw. If you don't want to integrate your team with Canvas, or if you just need to have another team on a side from Canvas, it's very easy to create a team. Upper right-hand corner, right there. Or if you're using the list view, which I'll switch to real quick, very easy to create a new team from that view as well, right down here, bottom left. Join or create a team, and you can go with class team if you want. You can go with other. I wouldn't do the two in between, but that's if you want to create a manual team. So maybe you have like a PLC or something like that outside of the course. You are more than welcome to create as many teams as you want. And if you need guidance with that, I can help you as well. Okay. So like I said, you can add multiple channels. If you want to do group work in your class, I recommend that you add what are called private channels. So let me scroll down here to that English example that I have. Scrolling. I know that I see it. There it is. So actually, I've gotten so used to the other view. Don't mind me. I'm going to switch back to it. There we go. I just like it better because it gets rid of that sidebar. There we go. So you can see that in this English channel, I only have one channel right now. If I want to add more, I can very easily go ahead and add a channel. And so let's say I want to set up like some group work channels. So I'm going to have a group project and I want to put several of my students into each of the different groups. This is not a breakout room. Okay, I'll be showing you breakout rooms here in a second. But we can create private channels. So I say group one, I'm going to set the privacy to private. And then it's going to ask me who wants to be or who I want to be in that channel. So this is the difference, the main difference between a private channel and a regular channel. If I just create a regular channel, it would automatically put everybody that's in the team into that channel. If I create private channels, I can decide who I want to be in a channel. Okay, so I'm going to add some of the people from my group into this private channel, and these are going to be my group members. So what I just did was I gave this group one their own little area within Teams. All right. Nobody else on the team can see this area, okay, other than Frodo and Marilyn. Now, I got to check and see how many different students. Okay, this isn't the team that I wanted to use, but I can then create, let me actually add a couple other test users. Let's set as well, Cedric Diggory. There we go. Now I'm actually adding some more members to my team quick because I didn't add enough and I want to create a second group. So I'm going to create a second private channel. Call it, ready for it, group 2. And we're going to set that privacy to private. And this is all going to make sense here, so give me a second. So we're going to add one and said. And we're going to go ahead and call that group 2. Okay, so here's the cool thing about this. All right, like I said, only those people that I added to this group can see it, including myself as an owner of the team or the person that created it. I will tell you that other owners won't be able to see these private channels unless you add them to that, because it only allows the owner that created the private channels to view it. Okay, so the cool thing about this is now you've created a group area. This is especially great for your live online courses. And if you have students that sometimes are coming face to face and sometimes attending live online for whatever reason, they can still have a place to collaborate. So if they're talking about a group project, who wants to take chapter 1? Okay, and then somebody can reply to it. They can share files in here. And then of course, each channel has its file storage area. They can build their notes. They can easily have meetings with just their group members right from here. So even students that are in class can meet with virtual students right from this meeting area. I will tell you this, if you're going to have meetings with students that are in class and virtual students, instruct your students to bring not only a device, but also headphones to class with them if they're going to do that. Okay, so private channels are great for group work. Okay, so let's go ahead and back up just a little bit, and we're going to talk about scheduling your weekly class meeting. Okay, one of the confusing points for teams can be the different ways that you can schedule and host meetings. Okay, so I mentioned from the chat area, you can be chatting with somebody and say, hey, I want to do a phone call. On my way to work this morning, I was trying to converse with somebody, and I was like, "This is getting. I can't do this. It's not safe. I can't keep stopping." So I just from that chat area quickly made a phone call. Very easy to do. So that's one type of meeting. You also have things that we don't do very often is webinar feature in Teams, and also a live event feature. Okay, those are just other options that we have available to us. What you're going to want to do is schedule channel meetings, reoccurring channel meetings. Okay, and you can see that I already set one up in this class, but I'm gonna pretend it doesn't exist, and I'm gonna walk you through setting up your reoccurring channel meeting. Now, you can either do this from the calendar area, or you can do it within the team. Okay, if I'm gonna do it from the team, I just click on this down arrow, not the meet, and schedule a meeting. When I do it from the channel area, it automatically puts the channel right there in there. The nice thing about scheduling a channel meeting is it automatically will invite all of your students that are in that team to the meeting. Okay, so you don't have to go in and add all of these attendees. Okay, so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it, like I said, is to go to the calendar, tap on new meeting. Okay, and you can see from here, it didn't add the channel. Well, that's not a big deal. We can just go ahead and search for the channel. Okay, you notice that we can't schedule a meeting in a private channel. Okay, that's expected. So we go ahead and do that. We can add the title. Now, I like you to be specific with your title. So I'm actually going to go course name, the section, and I'm also going to go F21. All right, because your students might have a lot of different class meetings on their calendar. And if you just put class meeting, that's pretty vague. Okay, so now you're to where you want to set the dates and times. All right, so you're going to go down to this next line. It's a repeating meeting. You're going to do it custom. Let's say this class meets twice a week. Okay, it's going to start on the 23rd, and we're going to run every week. And from here, we can say it's a Monday and Wednesday class meeting. Maybe you got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do that as well. Okay. Maybe you got a Tuesday, Thursday. I'm sure you get the idea at this point. Okay. But we're going to go back. We're just going to have a Monday, Wednesday meeting. Okay. And we're going to end it in December. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Just so long as it's past your last class meeting. And just like that, we have established our class meeting. But wait. There's more. There's one other thing that's going to be new this term that you're going to have to be aware of. Okay, and I'm going to kind of plant the seed right now. You will need to add a new single required attendee. Okay, so we talked about adding new room systems here in the city campus. If you instruct in person on the city campus, you're going to have to add a room system. So let's say that English is meeting in MTR. Okay. That stands for Microsoft Teams room, and these will all be labeled. So if you're in like D307, you're going to see MTR D307. Okay. If you're in Morford 204, you're going to see MTR M204. And what you're doing is you're inviting the Teams room to your meeting. Okay. Because when you walk into your new teacher station, there's going to be an iPad-looking hub sitting on the teacher station, and it is going to have a calendar on it with all the meetings that are scheduled for that room. And you're going to walk in, you're going to tap your meeting on the schedule, and it's going to start your Teams room. Okay, it'll start the camera up, it'll start the meeting. Okay, this is especially helpful, obviously, for you in making it really easy. You don't have to log in the teacher station, open Teams, find your meeting, open your meeting. Okay, you just tap the screen. But also, maybe students can start the meeting for you if needed. And we got a lot of other possibilities that are going to make it more streamlined for us. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I send that meeting along. Okay. And if I click over, sometimes it takes a little bit, but you can see that my class meetings are now adding to my calendar. All right. So once these load, you can see they're loading right now. I'll be able to click and join them right from here. I can also go directly to my team, and you can see that it's scheduled here. And I can click on this blue ribbon, and it will take me to where I can join the meeting. Now, this is another point of confusion for sometimes instructors and students. You want to click on this blue ribbon right here. All right. You don't want to go up here and click, hey, we're doing a channel meeting, let's meet. All right. Because this starts an entirely separate meeting. It starts what's called a meet now. All right. So once you schedule that meeting, it's going to show up on your calendar. It will show up. You can also create a calendar tab up here. So you can actually add a tab in the channel, or a channel calendar. So all of your students can easily see just your class's calendar. This is new from like winter. And so you can see up here, okay, I didn't notice I'm not in the calendar. Okay, I'm up here, and I can actually add things to the calendar. So maybe there's like not class meetings, but I could add like due dates to this if I wanted to, just as reminders. But your students can easily go, from posts to any files that are shared in the channel, to actually seeing just a view of your class calendar. All right. So, like I said, that's a pretty neat item right there. Let's see here, rolling along. Okay. So we talked about meetings. We scheduled a meeting. Let's talk a little bit about meeting options, and that'll lead us right into different meeting settings. All right. So we can change our meeting options, and I want to point those out. So let me go to the meeting I just set up. Yep, see there, it's there ready for me. And I can actually click on it, but I don't want to actually join the meeting right now. I just want to view meeting options. So a couple new things. You probably wouldn't want to do this for your class meetings, but you can require registration. Okay. like I said, they already registered for your class. But maybe if you were running like an event or a little information night or something like that, you can require those that are going to attend to register for your meeting or event. Okay, this also works for webinars. All right. But in addition, you have this meeting options button right here, and it'll open up in a browser, and it's going to give you a list of all the different settings for your meeting options. And I want to point out a couple to you right now because one in particular is super helpful. All right. So first of all, you got the standard lobby stuff, and you can make people go to the lobby and let them in if you want to. This is kind of helpful if you're doing like office hours and you wanted to set up like one office hour link. You could route everyone to the lobby, and then when you're done working with one student, they leave, you can let the next person in. So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. You can also, let's see here, take away the microphone or camera for people in attendance. So, you know, if you don't want people to talk during your class meeting, you can shut that off. You can always turn this back on during the meeting too. So maybe you start your meetings with the mic not allowed for anybody, but then you go and turn it on. That could be something that you want to do. But one that I really want to point out is this one right here, record automatically. I would advise, since you're required to record your class meetings, that once you set up your meeting and it shows up like it is right now on our calendar, that you go in and toggle that thing open. You will no longer have to remember to record your meetings. Okay? So once you're done, you can save that, and your meetings are now set. You're ready to go. So let's pop back to the meeting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring up the meeting that we are in now because I want to show you some more settings. All right. I haven't paid a lick of attention to the chat, so let me see here. Maybe I'll do that now. Don asked, do students get access as the Canvas course is not yet published? Don, they do not. They still get added to it if it's not published, but they're not going to get access to the team or the Canvas course until you publish the team or publish the Canvas course. That'll give them access to Canvas. And then on the team side, you have to activate, and that'll then give them access to the team. But like those two don't work together or anything like that. Todd asked, when using sync on Canvas, is the instructor still the team owner or just a member? That's a great question and something that I forgot to go over. Anyone that's listed as a teacher on the Canvas roster becomes an owner. So if you have multiple instructors, you'll have multiple owners. Anyone that's a student or any other role just becomes a member of that team. So if you have observers, they'll just be a member of the team. And I see Jennifer answered that. Thank you, Jennifer. That's great. All right. So I just mentioned meeting options. Meeting options are now available right within your menu button here. So you can actually adjust your meeting options and choose to record automatically right from here. So if you forget to do it from the traditional meeting options, it can happen in here. Let's see. Now that I'm in the actual meeting area, I'm going to get chat bubbles that pop up. So if someone posts something in the chat right now, somebody go ahead and send a chat message. It should, it normally does, show up right here. So that's going to make it a little bit easier for you to see. The only thing, there we go, Jennifer, Todd, there we are. Okay, so that will make it less likely for you to miss chats that come in during your meeting. And you can shut that off as well. If you go to your menu options here, if you don't like that, you can choose not to show the chat bubbles. Okay. One other thing, if you have students that are in a low bandwidth area, and I know that we're not cool with that this term, but if for some reason they have to be at home and can't make it in, and they're trying to help out on bandwidth, they can actually turn off incoming video, and that will get rid of anybody's video that is on during the session and help to save some bandwidth. While we're in this area, obviously we have the recording options. There is live captions that you can turn on, so at some point it's going to start putting up on the screen the things that I'm saying. So that's really awesome, and you can also change the language of it soon. There will be a little menu dot down here, and you're going to be actually able to change language if you wanted to do that for whatever reason. Let's see here. There's one other thing I thought. The view modes can be changed from here, but I've shown you that before. But if I haven't, there it is right there. Coming soon, there's this start transcription. So if you wanted a transcript of your entire meeting and everything that was said, so you don't have to have like a meeting notes taker, you can just record this transcription, and that will be available just like the recording is after the session. Speaking of things that happen during the session, if we pop over to our participants area, And Susan, I meant to bring this up to you for Adjunct Academy for the live online people so they didn't have to put their names in the chat. You can just click on these menu dots while the meeting is going on. You can't do this after, and you can download the attendance list. So like right before you leave the meeting, and I hate that part about this, you can download the attendance list. It will show you the time that everybody joined, and it will show you the time that anybody left. So if somebody from your class joins the meeting a little late and then leaves 20 minutes after, it will be recorded on a spreadsheet on your attendance list. Okay. I know. Now I tell you. Right. Another thing that you can see that I keep holding my mouse over that I don't think is used enough are live reactions. Live reactions are great, and I would encourage you to encourage your live onliners to use these, because as an instructor, as a presenter, it helps to affirm, when you say something that they're tuning in, they're paying attention, they're responding. Okay, they can do that in the chat, but this is kind of a quick and easy way to do it. Chad says, Kevin, if students turn off incoming video, will they still be able to view the main video? Are you talking like the screen share? I believe that you will still see screen share. You just won't see the presenter's video. I'm about 80% on that, maybe even upwards of 85% that I'm giving you the right answer right there. So that's pretty good. If you see 85% chance it's going to rain, it's probably going to rain, right? So, all right. Let's see here. I'm pretty much to the end of the list that I wanted to make sure that I covered. Okay. Two other big ones. One of them is screen sharing. So you notice that the screen share icon has changed. It's moved. And it's going to drop down a share tray right from this area right here. Okay. But since if I do this, it'll stop my screen share. You're going to either have to do it on your own or wait for it. I took a screenshot of what it looks like. So a couple things from here. First of all devices, Mac, Windows, can share your system audio. I even think mobile devices can as well. If you want to share your whole screen, I recommend that you do that. So if you need to jump from like a PowerPoint to a web resource to a document, to, sharing your screen is the easiest way to do it. If there's only one item that you want to share, maybe you just want to put a resource up on the screen, a Word document. Then you will just pick a specific window to share. Okay. You see whiteboard is here in Teams meeting. Please don't use it. Okay. If you're going to use Microsoft Whiteboard, do a screen share and then open the Whiteboard app from your desktop. Reason being is the whiteboard from here in Teams won't be included in the recording. It's stupid. It's dumb. I don't like it. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but that's the way it is. So you share your screen, you open Microsoft Whiteboard, then it will be included in the recording, and you still have all the functionality. Students can collaborate on it, you can share it, take pictures, stuff like that. Okay. There's another cool thing. So if you're just delivering a PowerPoint, you should use PowerPoint Live. Okay. So you can just choose screen or window and open your PowerPoint from there and use the app. But PowerPoint Live will open right from within Teams. And I have a screenshot of that as well, because I can't show you what mine looks like. But on the instructor side, this is not what the students will see. The students will see the window. Okay, they'll see the PowerPoint slide as they normally would. But on the instructor side, you see things like the ability. So it'll actually give your students the ability to move through your slides at whatever pace they want. So maybe you just want to put a PowerPoint up, a slide deck up, and say, click through this if you want as you're working on this project. And they could click all through the PowerPoint. Okay. So it gives it a kind of an interactive piece, which is pretty cool. But maybe you're actually presenting synchronously. You can click on this eye icon right here, and it will not allow them to click through the slides. It's also going to give you some presenter controls. Okay. You're going to be able to use different views. There's menu options here for how you present. And there also is the ability to add a laser pointer and annotation tools, in addition to, you see your slide notes and the ability to quickly click through slides here as well. So that's PowerPoint Live. It's pretty sweet. It's relatively new, but it's going to give you some advanced features right within Teams if all you're trying to do is share a PowerPoint. Let's see here. While I'm up in this upper right-hand corner area, one thing that I noticed, and Susan, you might have noticed this as well, but your Adjunct Academy meeting from last night is still going on. Okay, that meeting is still happening. So that's gonna be a super long recording. I would get in the habit, okay, and I'm sorry to pick on Susan here, but instead of just leaving your meeting okay, when you're ending your class meeting, click on this down arrow and click end meeting, okay? Because that will boot everybody out. And if like a student just, isn't paying attention and doesn't actually leave the meeting, that recording will just go on and on and on and on. Now, I know you could stop the recording, but let's be honest, most of us just don't do it that way, and that's fine, okay? So if you're done with your class meeting, just go ahead and hit end meeting. That will kick out people that have left and long stop paying attention, and it will also end your recording. Breakout room. So not a ton has changed with breakout rooms. So just like before, we click on this icon up here. You can automatically assign or you can manually assign. I'm going to choose manually assign. That's going to take all of you and give me the option. How many people are in here right now? Let's just do 8 rooms. I'm not actually going to send you to the rooms. I just want to show you some of the updated settings. And you can see from here, I can take Jennifer and Ann and Carol, assign them to a room. I can take Sharon and Carrie Ann and Bill, assign them to room 2, and you get the idea, okay? All right, so I still have some people that I need to assign, but I just want to save some time here, okay? And you can see that we have more of an interface here now, okay? When I'm ready to open the rooms, I just hit open. If I wanted to make additional rooms, I can do that with the plus sign. If I want to send out announcements to all the rooms once I open the rooms, I can do that, but that's not available right now. If I need to recreate the rooms, check that out. I can do that, but I'm not going to do that right now. But you can do it right from here. So you don't have to like go up and restart the teams or the breakout rooms all over again. If I need to get rid of things, I can do that. So I can actually like remove the rooms. And then there's more settings, okay? So I can set a time limit, boom. Okay, so I want to have a quick 10-minute discussion. There we go. Further settings, I can allow participants to move to rooms or automatically move them to the room. Sorry, I can't read right now. And then I can also allow, so maybe I had a student that wanted to pop back to the main room. They can do that as well. We still don't have the ability to create rooms ahead of time. Supposedly that's on the roadmap. But just know, I know some of you want to be able to do that. That's supposedly on the way. So we're about 40 minutes in. Looking at my notes right here, I think I've covered pretty much everything that I want to cover. I know that I straight up flew through this, but that was by design because I have things to do, you have things to do, and if you need to know more about any of these things, obviously you can hit me up and I can help you out. Let's see, just further looking at my notes, making sure I didn't miss anything important. I think we're good. They just released some new Teams features. One of them is the ability to pin a chat message. And that's actually something that I've been wanting to do too, but it's not available yet. It will be released soon. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, man, with my emails, I can flag them and follow up on them, and it makes it so great. But with like Teams chat, like sometimes I'll see a message and just forget about it and don't follow up to it on it. Well, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to actually be able to pin one chat message per chat, and it'll actually show up at the top. So when you return, to Kevin Wagonmaker chat area, it will show that chat message. So I'll be like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that for that person and help them out. Once that shows up, you're going to see it from the menu dots over a chat message. You'll actually see pin right up in there. So that's coming your way. Other than that, not a lot of new items on the not so, or on the close up roadmap, but I'll be sure to let you know when I know. So that's a lot of words out of my mouth. Do you have any questions? Hot camera can be a problem too. Why you say that, Todd? Or should I come to my own conclusion? Carrie Ann, I'm very excited about them as well. And I look forward to seeing how you all put them to use. You're all the real MVPs here. You're the real pros. Any other questions? All right. Well, Todd explained himself in the chat if you didn't see it. I was talking about the meeting not ending, which I was. And if you join the meeting with multiple devices, which you can do, so like when you go to your teacher station, you can also bring your Surface in like you used to, or your MacBook or your iPad, and join the meeting to ink. But sometimes we forget to end the meeting or leave the meeting with that second device. So that's a great point, Todd. And another reason for you to choose in the meeting, since you have the ability to do that, instead of just leaving the meeting, okay? Because that will leave the meeting for all, or in the meeting for all your devices.
So Kevin, this is Susan. I do have a question. So I wasn't the last person who left the meeting yesterday. Does that mean I always have to go back into the meeting and then end it because I was the creator?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if everybody leaves the meeting like they normally are supposed to, then you won't have to do anything. But if for some reason someone, walks away from
sitting there,
yeah.
Okay.
So you can actually go into that Adjunct Academy meeting and just click on end the meeting, and that'll.
And I did. I just went out and did it, but I was thinking, oh well, Rob was the last one in because he was projecting. I had shut my stuff down already. Right. And that's why I was wondering. So if you leave students in to talk, which would be fine, kind of. But if one of them falls asleep, it stays on forever.
Yeah. So I know a lot of you do that, and that's great. That's fine. What I would do in that case is just end the recording and then tell them to make sure they leave when they're done. Make sure they turn off the lights when they leave,
Yep. Thankfully, I did not record 18 hours. It was not recorded yesterday, so.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, perfect.
Nope. Yes. Somebody is still in there, though, just so if you think about it, I mean, there's an adjunct still sitting in that room, or was until I closed it down.
Right. Virtually.
Yes.
All right. So not a ton of new stuff, but this was just kind of meant as a refresher. If you didn't see my email, we will be hosting people to come in and check out the teacher stations in Sydney. If you're teaching on the Sydney campus, just make sure you send me an email or reply to my email. And I'm still working on finalizing times to get you all in, but I should have something by the end of the day. So quite a few people responded to that. So I appreciate that. So the more we can get trained and an overview too ahead of time, the smoother or more smooth next week will go. All right. If there's any other questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Other than that, I'll cut you loose. It is 12:45. I appreciate all you taking your time out of your busy schedule to join me, and looking forward to the start of the term. So long.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.